This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening. This is Report of the Week here, and we are now commencing another show. The current time is 1:16 a.m. The date, Friday, July 18th, 2014. TGIF, right? TGIF. It is the conclusion of another week, at least for all of you working folks out there. Those of you on break or vacation or aren't working, well, it's the end of another week regardless. So, now begins the incessant partying, which many consider the weekend. If you're one of those folks, don't do anything stupid, please. If not, well, still don't do anything stupid. I think that's worthy advice, huh? So anyway, how are we all doing tonight? Today? Most likely today, because I'm not uploading this immediately. I'm giving people time, for the other VORW and reviews to sink in. This will probably be going up sometime during the weekend. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. But, at some point. Just looking at a funny picture. Anyway. And so, hope you are all doing fine today. I hope you all are. I'm alright. What did I do today? Nothing. Woke up at, I don't remember if I woke up at, I woke up at around 2:50 p.m. today. And, I don't know, I went on the computer, listened on the site, the web of SDR, which I was surprised to find out that some of you guys actually still use that, and I'm glad to see. I'm always on that site, but decided to listen exclusively to what was on there, and then did that for 2 hours, and I took out my own shortwave radio and tried to catch a new station. I tried to catch the BBC World Service, which has renowned reporting. Very good news source. I recommend them. But I was able to actually catch their service to Africa loud and clear. That was actually quite nice to hear. I had some dinner. I actually did a review tonight, so I'm sure you'll eventually see it. Reviewed DiGiorno pizza. I was actually recently surprised. I was in the grocery store, right? And I was checking out the frozen pizzas. So, what can I review next? I pretty much cleared out all the freshettas. Now, of course, we're going to do Red Baron, but I also want to do another chain at that. I don't want it to keep it exclusively, one group. So I figured, well, what are we going to do? So I was looking around, and lo and behold, I came upon the DiGiorno pizzas. Now, mind you, I really haven't had the DiGiorno pizzas to eat in a very long time. DiGiorno is definitely not my preferred choice. But I looked at the box, and I thought, I was just looking at it aesthetic-wise. I thought, this looks like a pretty decent pizza. And, of course, every pizza tries to make theirs look as appetizing as possible, and it's almost never as good as it portrays to be. But it looked pretty good, and it compelled me to buy it. So I reviewed it, and, we'll just have to see how it was. Let me tell you this, nothing could have been worse than that drink we had, right? That one energy drink, G-Shot, I believe. The video is actually uploading as I record this. I believe it's review number 101. Let's see, what percent are we at? 61% processing. It'll be up any minute now. So I hope you all enjoy that review, or have enjoyed it. But yeah, that was disgusting. I mean, seriously was. Whew. And it's even more disgusting when I went after I dumped it down the sink. I couldn't drink that. I hope you understand. It was just that disgusting. It was that I couldn't drink it. When I was washing it out, a little jar, because it really was a jar. It wasn't like a little plastic container or a can. It was a jar that it was in. And when I drank that, there was a sediment in the bottom that wouldn't come off, and I said, oh, forget it. Put it in the recycle bin, and said, that's it. But what else did I do? Anything else worth mentioning? Went out for my usual walk. I always take a walk, normally during sunset. So I usually leave at 9 and come back at 9:45 and take a good long walk. It's really a good time to, number one, watch the sunset, but also to depart while there's still daylight and come back at night. It's really a good time, while I walk, to recollect and think about various quandaries that face me or what have you. That's usually when I come to the solution of many of my problems while I'm actually taking a walk. Because it gives me a lot of personal time to really think, and being in a, of course, not necessarily secluded, but where I walk, I really don't want to be distracted too much. I'm usually in deep thought while I take my walks, but it's just nice, it clears out a lot of stuff, clears the mind, I like to say. And also, it's a solid exercise, at least for me. I'm not trying to become buff at this point, but for what I do, I am, in a docile state. It's good exercise. But yeah, there we go. After that, now I sat here. I kept up to date on what's going on in the world. I had set the shortwave stations to, or shortwave receivers to military frequencies now, since things are going on in Ukraine and Iraq and Israel and Libya and where next. But yeah, so I monitored all that. And so now I'm making the VORW. Yep, that's what I've come to. So, without further ado, let's read the fan mail, okay? Sound like a plan? I sure hope it does, because we've done this every other show since, and no one's been complaining. Now's your chance. Let your voice be heard. I don't know how much we had. I'm looking right now. Probably a little light. Maybe not. We'll start on this one, and once again, if I missed yours, let me know. Send it back, and I will gladly oblige and read it. Apologizing profusely, of course, in tears. No, you won't be able to see them, but okay. I have really enjoyed your Crazy Preacher video. Great find. I feel we are some of the very few people that appreciate talk radio broadcasts. Good looking out. Supportive subscriber, Anthony. Absolutely. It's really surprising what you find on some of those shortwave stations. A lot of those stations come from the southern U.S. I'm not saying anything about the people there. It's just that a lot of those stations just open up their airtime and sell it to the highest bidder, pretty much. So you get a lot of interesting characters, if you will. I was listening to this one guy a couple of evenings ago. He was going on about what was he saying? He was saying something about how you should try to eat as little food as possible because the government's trying to poison us all. Something like that. Who knows? But and then he was saying something else about how there's I don't even know. Something about K-SARS. I think that's how they're pronounced. But who knows? Hey man, it's VORW talking about this to your channel. You mentioned you removed the review of your dad. That's such a shame. I really enjoyed that one, and I haven't seen it in ages. It saddens me that I'll never get to see it again. That said, though, I could understand you removing it if trolls were talking crap about your family. I was going through your Idle Mind lectures and noticed one of those was removed too. Yep. I think it was the one about the school. Yeah, I'll get to that later this show. Again, I can understand removing it if trolls and are being bullying. I was going to ask you to privately send me the removed vids if you still have them, but I guess you have no reason to trust me. For all you know, I'm a troll who just re-uploads the videos you don't want public. Just please don't delete anything else. I'm tempted to archive your videos in case. That's how much I love your stuff. I don't laugh at you. I find you to be a genuinely fun guy and a great YouTube personality. Keep up the great work, Gareth. Thank you. You know, I don't plan on removing anything else. And listen, they're still there. They're just private. So, I mean, I could watch them, but I don't want to, really. But they're still there. I'll talk about the school one tonight. No, but I just can't tolerate it, you know? I cannot. So don't worry, the rest of them are safe. Oh boy, this is a good one. Get ready for this. Get ready for this one, people. My dear reviewer, I wanted to tell you that I am delighted you have taken an interest in me. And when I learned of your vast correspondence, I thought, dare I? Of course I do. I don't believe you would tell them who I am, even if you knew. Besides, what particular body I occupy is trivial. The important thing is what I'm becoming. I know that you alone can understand this. I have some things I'd show you, someday perhaps, if circumstances permit. I hope we can correspond. I have admired you for years, and have a complete collection of your press notices. Actually, I think of them as unfair reviews, as unfair as mine. They like to sling meaning nicknames, don't they? The Tooth Fairy. What could be more appropriate? It would shame me for you to see if I had not known what you have suffered, the same distortions in the press. Spicy Carl interests me. Odd-looking fellow for a flat-foot, isn't he? Not very handsome, but purposeful-looking. You should have taught him not to meddle. Forgive the stationery. I chose it because it would dissolve very quickly if you have to swallow it. If I hear from you, maybe next time I'll send you something wet. Until then, I remain your avid fan. Please don't. No further comments on that. Who knows? Well, Mr. Reporter of the Week, I just wanted to say I've been watching your videos for about 3 weeks now. To thank you for these videos. While I am messaging you, I may as well throw out a suggestion for a review. I recently got a summer job at Subway. I saw you reviewed their BLT, but I'd like you to try a new favorite sub titled Subway Melt. It is ham, turkey, bacon, and cheese. I would greatly appreciate it if you were to review it. I also leave you with 2 questions. First being, did you watch the World Cup and were you pleased with Germany winning it? My second is, what do you think of Kanye West's music? Apologize for the length of my message, but I needed to get it all there. Take care. Got a local Subway, so we could definitely get that in at some point. Germany really wasn't my top pick for the World Cup. But surprisingly, I do have some German heritage. Not too much, but I do have some, so I was actually, in the end, supporting Germany there. So, I mean, I am. There could definitely be worse, I suppose, groups to win it. As for Kanye West's music, I haven't listened to it in a long time. I'm talking many years. Nor do I intend to. Once again, I say credit is given where credit is due, and I do credit Mr. Kanye West for being both an acclaimed and very talented musician. However, at this point in time, I'm just not a fan of hip-hop and rap and R&B and any of that. Maybe one day, but as of now, I'm not a fan of it. But once again, I acknowledge his talent as a very, very talented individual. Hey dude, I'm a big fan, and I was wondering if you could shout me out to your next video. Keep up the good work. Yep, yeah, you got it. You got it, Hoss. See this right here. Giving a shout out. This is a YouTube channel, mind you. Giving a shout out to .camo. That's DOTCAMO. .camo. You have a very special Report of the Week shout out. Likewise, if you're interested in his channel, he seems to make a few gaming videos. I don't know what game that is. I don't know if that's Call of Duty or Battlefield or what, but seems to be some first-person shooter. Anyway, feel free to check them out if you wish. Once again, that's .camo. You have an official shout-out from yours truly, the Report of the Week. Hello, Review Bra. I've been watching your videos for quite a while, and I admire your sense of style and the fact that you have the confidence to wear the types of clothes you wear. I was curious if you could discuss the proper timepiece to use during different daily life in a video. When VORW discussed pocket watches, but I find it really hard to know what kind of watch is appropriate to wear at different events, or even just during daily life. Thank you for reading, and keep up the fantastic work. Sincerely, Alec. Sure, I could squeeze in a video there as well. Would you be interested in seeing Road to Hana as a short film? I'm looking to shoot a short soon. I found that tale quite interesting, unique, and filled with moments of dark comedy. If so, inquire within. Either way, I urge you to keep writing and reading stories via your VORW shows. Storytelling radio is a lost art, and it's wonderful to see a modern contributor. Thank you very much. I'll think about it, but I'll get back to you if I do decide. Hello there again. I really liked your story in tonight's VORW. You have a talent for writing. It sounds like it was a truly crazy ordeal. It certainly was. Wow. Do you write very often? I'd be delighted to hear or read more of your work. I'm a writer of sorts myself. In any case, I hope you're well, and I look forward to your next video. Take care. I'll definitely see. And I've just been writing an article. I really haven't been writing too much lately, but sometimes when I'm feeling it, I begin, I just go for it. So if I write another story, I'll definitely gladly showcase it here. Hey man, I don't remember which VORW it was, but he played a fan-made song, Ode to Report of the Week. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Something like that. Just wondering if you could send me a link to it, as I do not seem to find it. Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was, it was, whatever you call it. Not public, and it's not private, it's the one in between, whatever you call it, unfiltered, I think. Seems to be it. Let's see what it is. We can't move on until we get to it. Let's see this, unlisted, that was it. Yeah, I want to leave the page. You know what? Yeah, I'll send it to you. What are you gonna? It's not my work. I'll send it to you. If it's not on YouTube, maybe you could upload it or something. Absolutely. He also asked for a shout out, so once again, I gladly will. This is a YouTube channel, by the way. It's KEXIOH. I don't know how to really pronounce that. Don't know if the X is supposed to be silent or not. But I give a proud shout out to KEXIOH. It's on YouTube. Doesn't seem to have anything on his channel, but once again, I gladly give a shout out. Hope you are well. Alright, my people. Well, we're 18 minutes in. About to get to things. Before we start, let me just show you a few pictures. I finally got the pictures from my Hawaiian trip, I suppose, if you will, back. 1,000 pictures in total, but I sorted through them and just picked a few. I'm not going to show you all of them, of course, just a couple, and then, trust me, unless you want to know anything more, this is the last I'll be discussing about it, okay? So let me just show you a few pictures. Of course, if you're listening to this not on the internet, that's fine. You could use your imagination, right? Test it out. Otherwise, yeah, it is what it is. So this picture here is one you saw in the last VORW. This is actually the view from our hotel room in Honolulu. Nice little mountain in the background. I think they call that Diamond Head. And nice beaches, the picturesque beach that they always associate Hawaii with. No, I didn't even go down there. So, there I am. That's a good example of my attire in Hawaii. We were touring we visited Pearl Harbor, and we were touring a variety of ships. Here I am in one of them, though, and that's an example of my daily attire for there. The pants are quite nice. There's a rainbow. Just another example of my daily attire. This is when we were leaving the hotel. Classic shirt and tie there. Here we are on Maui. This is actually on top of a mountain known as Haleakala. And the landscape up there is quite interesting. Notice the red, gravel, if you wish. Almost as reminiscent of the Martian landscape. We were above the clouds. Here I am in a more tropical setting. Palm trees in the background. Here I am at another site. Here's a classic sunset, which many associate Hawaii with, in Maui. Is once again on a beach. A nice red sky. Wait until you see the other one. That makes this one look like nothing. Here we are in a lava field. That's all lava. It's Mount Mauna Loa background there. It's the world's tallest, if you wish to consider it. It's actually 35,000 feet tall. Due to the fact, of course, it's only 18,000, I believe, or maybe 13,000 feet tall above ground, but it actually continues under the water for an additional tens of thousands of feet, making it actually the tallest mountain in the world. Of course, though, altitude-wise, Mount Everest still ranks higher. Here I am on the summit of the sister mountain of it, if you wish. I believe it's Mauna Kea. You could see the look of pure disgust on my face because of those. I just thought those idiots on the left there were just making fools out of themselves. And then, of course, here's the sunset from the summit. There, those are observatories in the foreground. It was, I'd have to say, seeing the sunset from up here is one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. It was absolutely beautiful. And as I looked out and observed it, and it was something probably I've seen very, very few times from that altitude and what have you. But it was absolutely beautiful. And with that being said, it was almost an inspirational moment, if you will. Here I am touring a site. We're back in 03. The lava actually crossed the road here. I'm pulling off the Hawaiian shirt. Absolute desolation, if you will. These are pictures of desolation left of where lava once flowed. Nothing growing there. This is the view from our hotel in another park. You can see the volcano in the foreground, still active to this day. There's the rainforest. It's funny how diverse actually the climates were here. You could see in the previous picture there was just flat, barren landscape of the caldera in the background, and then here's the rainforest, which is literally probably like 5 miles away. And that's what it looked like at night. You could see the red glow from the lava. And finally, last but not least, we went back to Hilo, I guess. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know the names of the islands. Forgot them already. Honolulu, that island. Maybe that's Oahu. Anyway, yeah, I think so. And we visited this one place where there was a luau and stuff, so I pulled off the white shirt for that event. And there's a few pictures of the avian life and a big roach that we saw in the airport. But that sums that up. Now let's get to the lecture. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now be discussing the history of my channel as far as we could take it. We are definitely starting mid-2012. And it could possibly maybe go as far as early 2013. It depends on what I have to talk about and how much I want to talk about various things. So in mid-2012, the golden age, per se, of my channel was still going strong. I had a very small, mind you, a very small community. But it was a strong one. Yeah, they were quite strong. They were respectful and supportive, and they're always there for me. You know, and that's really what helps build a community, is those elements. And I don't know how many of these people are still around today. I would assume very, very few. I know back in a previous VORW, I actually said, when I was reading the fan mail, I was saying, if anyone, from my original community is still with me, send me PM. And I got about 2 names I remembered, because some of those members of my original community really stuck out to me. So I'd never forget them. But I got a few familiar faces, but the rest of them have all, but faded away. Or have gone into anonymity, if you will. And, of course, if I really wanted to, I'm sure I could go back to old comments and stuff and track them down, but I respect people's privacy. But, likewise, the channel was going strong then. And I decided to try something out. Because I was open to, testing new things out. If you remember in my last lecture, second to last lecture, I remarked upon how I was willing to branch into food reviews and pretty much clear out, at the time, the entirety of the McDonald's menu. When I created this channel, it was primarily for energy drink reviews. But I was willing to branch out after over a year, at least in my opinion, successfully making and continuing with reviews. So I decided to branch out once more. I believe I told you already. I did a lecture. I actually started doing lectures back then. This was, of course, experimental, but I did a lecture on straws and various types and uses and purposes and all of that. And I thought that went over all right, but of course, if you were to watch it, I do not know, as it was my first lecture, and maybe I was a bit shaky, but for my first, I thought it was all right to carry it, at least for, maybe 30 minutes or so. So, of course, I was willing to try new things out. So, with all the energy drink reviews going still smooth as can be, I decided to test out something that I had never done before. And it was pretty much on the spot, too. I decided to allow me to make a satirical film entitled My Average Day. Raw video. And mind you, I put the raw video after I've seen so many, because at the time, and I still am, I was subscribed to the Associated Press on YouTube. And their videos would always pop up, and it would always say raw video in all capital letters. So I decided to model it after a news bulletin, assuming that there would be, whatever disturbing content in there. So I put raw video, just a little side joke, which no one ever got. But, so I made the average day video. And I really took it on the spot. I was a bit stupid back then. I said a few things in that video which I will never say again. And for those reasons, I have not watched it in several months. Nor do I intend to watch it anytime soon, because it just reminds me of my own failures. And while it's always good to learn from your mistakes, I just don't like watching it, and that'll bring me down again, and that's not what I need right now. And I hope that didn't make me sound like a narcissistic jerk. I'm talking about depression here, not anything else. But regardless, so I made the average day video, and I thought it went over pretty well. I showed my average day from a humorous point of view, while trying to act as if it was totally serious. I went up, did my hair, picked out a outfit for the day. went on the computer and began advertising my channel. I'll get to the advertising in a little bit. Watched some TV, critiqued the TV, all of that. So let's talk about the average day video, because it plays a pivotal role in my channel. Or at least it's something a lot of people have seen and talked about. The average day video, in my opinion, is an utter disgrace. And if I had it in me, I would have deleted it long ago. But since it's such a memorable video, I have kept it up. But let it be known that I look down upon it. The average day video is a very interesting one, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. However, for those of you, once again, who have been listening to this for probably 30 minutes now, you are not the people who I'm addressing, because all of you have the patience to listen to me talk for 30 plus minutes. Patience really is one of the qualities which my adversaries lack. So please understand it is directed to none of you. So, there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. A lot of people say one of the key points in that video was my advertising campaign. Now, the advertising campaign, my RuneScape advertising campaign, allow me to get into that for a moment. I originally started playing out that game because a few of my friends did back in 2009. Well, 5 years ago, isn't that a, as the common man says, a mind F? I suppose that is. 5 years doesn't feel like it, that's for sure. But back in 2009, I started playing it. Played it through 2010, but then in early 2011, I lost interest in the game. But then I realized, back in late 2011, I realized that millions of people play this game. That's and because I know the workings of the chat system inside and out, I could cater to them and advertise to them and try to promote my channel that way. So I made literally 2,500 accounts in that game. 2,500, and for those of you who have played that game in the past, you know that's a lot. I made 2,500 accounts and started an advertising campaign where I would literally spam and bombard the chat system constantly with a simple ad. Search the report of the week on YouTube, and I'd do that for many hours every single day. I'd run various programs that would automatically switch the accounts and all of that. So I did actually advertise my channel. But a lot of people took that out of context, because that's not the only thing I did on the computer. I'd simply set it up and then move to the next thing and go about my business. But a lot of people would say, oh, look at that stupid faggot, you know, all he plays is this, and advertise this channel. And that's not the impression I was trying to get with that video. But unfortunately, with, you know, or at least my past audience, I haven't heard anyone say that in about a year. So I'll say my past audience, you know, that's how they received that. Then there was another piece of information which really stood out to them, was dinner, I think. Once again, as you know, I don't watch that video, so I'm not going to go back and say it word for word. But I believe with dinner, you know, that's where another wave of insults came in. They said, don't remember specifically. I think somehow the idiots got an impression that even my parents hate me. I think there's something there. Because my mother came in with dinner that night. I think it was KFC. And I don't know, she made some remark like, you're pathetic or something. But people apparently were too stupid to realize the difference between playful banter and something in vain. And that clearly was not in vain. But once again, those people with peanut brains to say such a thing are not listening to me right now. So moving on. The video itself, the average day video itself, gained positive reception. And at the time, it actually became one of my most popular videos. And that was until I gained my first wave of attention. Did I already talk about this? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows? But we'll talk about it again if I already did. It was really my first wave of attention. The second one came when, also a few weeks later, one of my videos was mentioned on an energy drink company's website. I might have mentioned this. I'm just going to talk about it briefly. My review for cocaine was published on their website, the company website, and that got me a few thousand views on that video. Likewise, a few more fans, and of course my first taste at real hate, which I now face ever so often, which is now meaningless. But back then, did I respond? I stood up for myself back then. Nowadays, I just ignore it and try not to think too much about it. So anyway, that's also another taste of what have you, if you wish to call it, acknowledgement. Let's go to the channel right now and let's look at the videos and see what else we got. Oh, we broke 16,400 subscribers. Hey, wow. Wow, a number. Check the energy drink review is up. Hope you all like it. Not like it, like on YouTube, but I mean, I hope you enjoy it. So let's go down and let's just see what else we got here. Okay, alrighty. Looks good. Alright, so next, moving away from the average date video. It was an interesting video. At the time I thought, nah, I'm not going to make another one of these, it was cool and all, but I think that was that. But I think, if you wish to watch it, it perfectly describes my mindset in the year 2012. So if you do wish to watch that original average day video, it perfectly describes my mindset in the year 2012. And I'll tell you why. It perfectly does describe my mindset. It pretty much shows a lack of caring, about the future, living in the moment, and of course I was enjoying life. That's not saying I am now, but more so back then. No problems. That gives you a good idea of my mindset back then. So anyway, continuing on the next few weeks, we resumed activities. We made a few more energy drink reviews. And then I decided to try out the lecture thing once again. What was this lecture on? Bad drivers. It was actually one of my longest, it was actually my longest lecture, split up into 4 parts because it was a video, and at the time I did not have the ability to record long videos, or let's say upload long content, as I do now. So, it was actually my longest video until the VORW shows of recent, so it certainly had a pretty long-standing title. And it was on bad drivers. And I talked all about that. I had dioramas, examples, and all of that. And once again, I thought it was a pretty neat thing to do. So, you could say these were actually almost test broadcasts prior to my Idle Mind series. So, I was basically testing the waters here, if you want to call it that. I tried out the first one with the straws, I liked it. I tested out the longer one with the, can't believe I forgot what I was talking about. The longer one with the bad drivers. And I realized, this is actually kind of nice to do. And I thought, I'm going to start doing regular lectures. And after I finished that broadcast, the one with the random lecture number 2, Bad Drivers, I realized this is something I could start doing. So I, of course, kept doing other reviews. I actually briefly, in August of 2012, brought back the Running on Empty series, where I reviewed Planet Wings and Wendy's. I was also testing the waters there to see if, I wanted to test 2 things when I would do those test broadcasts like that. I would test, number 1, how I enjoy doing that. Because really, if you don't like making a certain thing, then why bother? That's my ideology. And I also wanted to test what my fan base, which is once again very loyal at the time, so gladly share their thoughts on all of my content, what they thought. Reception was good of the lectures. Reception was good, even better, on the Planet Wings reviews. Or not the Planet Wings, the Running on Empty reviews. That was pretty much the green light for both. But I really wanted to dedicate my time and efforts to the lectures. So in the weeks before the first Idle Mind lectures, I devised a title, with the help of others, I'm not going to lie. A plan, composed various topics, format to the show. What do you want? You want to see something cool? Here. Let me pull this up for you right now. And let me get a screenshot of this. Did you know that I actually created at the time plans? I created plans for all the shows, the Idle Mind shows, in Word documents that would format the shows. Here, take a look at this right now. I wanted to, with the Idle Mind lectures, the early ones, I'm talking 2012, the original ones, create a show where I would talk about various topics, very mundane ones, but from almost a very kindly manner. Some people compared it to Mr. Rogers, but you can if you want. But very mundane objects and topics. I wanted to cover them, give a brief history about them, hands-on examples, but to do so with dignity and respect. And the shows themselves would be anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes for the most part. But here, take a look at this. I would actually plan them out here in Microsoft Word. Take a look at this one here. This is the plan for my YouTube episode. That's episode 1, which I started out on September 1st of 2012. Take a look right now. That is something interesting, I think. And I have that for every single show, and if you really want to see a few more, just inquire within, and I will personally respond to your message and send them to you. So let me know if you want to see that. I never have made those for any newer shows. If you're wondering if I made those for my VORW shows, to a degree I would. I'd actually just scribble down notes on a sheet of paper, and then throw the piece of paper out. So I really don't have anything for that. Nowadays I don't use that anymore. I set up the microphone and start talking. And I think that's something interesting also. We're going to take this till probably for another 10-15 minutes, alright? That sound good, people? Because I think I'm just going to talk about the Idle Mind shows and see where we go from there, alright? Because the next show is going to take a lot of time, because a lot of stuff happens in a very, very short period of time. Okay, so the Idle Mind shows started on September 1st of 2012. If you want to watch these, this represents, for me, the waning months of my golden age still. You know I keep referencing, the golden age of your channel, and if you've listened already, I know I've talked about this in previous shows, so you clearly know what I'm talking about by it. But for new viewers just tuning in, you might be a little, maybe, not distracted, but a little confused. That's the word I was looking for. Confused about my term, golden age. A lot of people describe a golden age, might say, oh, well, lecturer review, bro, aren't you in your golden age right now? You got a lot of views, you're certainly still going up, blah, blah, blah. And I say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not at all. Nowhere close. Because for me, and this is an unpopular definition of a golden age, that's for sure, but a golden age, for me, really is only one thing, and that's personal contentness. I don't know if contentness is a word, but if I'm personally content with where I am right now. And back then, from 2012 probably, I'd say, early 2012 to early 2013. That 1 year expanse was my golden age, both in life, and it's also illustrated through my weekly videos via YouTube. Because I was content with everything. I had no problems. No worries. I could live without a care in the world. I felt, mind you, I learned the hard way of this, but I felt like I could say what I wanted to and do what I wanted to. And I had still, while I was turning into an adult, I still had a remnant of that childhood naivety within me. Nowadays, I have none of that. I realize my place in the world, and I realize that you can't say and you cannot do whatever you want without brutal repercussions. And I feel through meditation and through learning through example, I have become more wiser, and that is not a good thing, if you will. Because coming that, I have more problems, more people to deal with, more issues, and it's just gone down, gone downhill. But that is life, and that's how it's going to turn out, and you just got to go on with it, and you got to deal with it. It's really not about the problems, it's how you respond to them. That's also how I like to look at things. It's not about the problem, or it's not about a mistake you make, it's how you respond to that mistake or problem that matters. So, but I'm going on, trucking on. But, anyways. So continuing on, we decided to start doing the Idle Mind videos. Episode 1 was on YouTube, and it was very well received by my audience at the time. I talked about YouTube, the history thereof, and I showed a few YouTube videos typical of it at the time in 2012, which are now, with this ever-changing internet, you rarely see anymore. But gives a good look also at the internet in 2012, and also how I was still a degenerate back then. Episode 2 dealt with shoes and various kinds of. That one I really felt was more Mr. Rogers-esque, if you will. Episode 3 was about yard work. Yard work is typically, I usually like to help around the house and help the folks out while I'm, during the summers while it gets warmer, and all that. And I've still been helping out. I'll still go out and do some stuff every now and then. I was thinking about helping trim some hedges tomorrow. We'll see. See if I'm feeling it. Episode 4 was about basement work, which I actually like doing a lot more than yard work. Basement work I do all the time. I help move stuff. Really helped clean out the basement in the past while. Now it's a place where I'd actually don't feel too bad about actually going down there and shooting some darts. Whereas back then I felt disgusted to do so. Now, episode 5, and I don't know how long I'm going to talk about this. We're at 48 minutes. I'm going to stop at 55. So I think we might have to end our show here. But we're going to talk about episode 5. Now, if you have access to the computer, and if you wish to do this with me, of course you don't have to. It's no issue if you don't. If you do, go to the Report of the Week's channel. Check the videos. Scroll all the way down until you see the original Idle Mind videos. See them? And look for episode 5. You see it? There's episode 1. There's 2, 3, 4. There's 6. But where on earth is 5? I'm looking at it right now. It's right there next to 6. But it's got a little lock next to it. That means it's private. Has 12,270 views. So clearly, compared to the 1,000 views and then the 5,000, clearly people are watching this one for some reason. And most of the time, once again, with changing audiences now, when there's more views, it's not necessarily too dastardly a thing, but it still means something's up. But back then, when there were more views, that meant a very, very bad thing. That means that a lot of people were watching it because they were laughing at you for some reason. Alright? So, of course, at the time, when I uploaded this originally in 2012, it was only met with serious answers and serious responses and appropriate comments. that all went to you know where very shortly. So people were watching it for some reason. What was episode 5 about? It was about my waning career at school. But I mostly discussed, schooling and education in general. But that wasn't the problem. Apparently, and once again, this shows the stupidity of many people who took this the wrong way, and that was the reason why I took it out. I made a short video. Now, actually, allow me to show you right now. I already pulled up a plan for the original episode, the YouTube episode. I'm going to pull up the plan right now for my school episode. And I hope this clears out a lot of things. For those of you who have actually watched it previous, I hope I could show you this right now. I'm going to take a screenshot here. Look at this. Tell a joke about school and talk about how nervous you were before school started. Tell the viewers a short clip, or show the viewers a short clip taken earlier in the day. That was apparently the whole paragraph. I cut the paragraph off there. Take 10 minutes. Here we go. In the clip, you will most likely actually see that I was already implying that I wouldn't really be scared and nervous. Go through the typical what-ifs about friends, bullying, and bad teachers. Tell the viewers you'll get back to them later, and that's supposed to take 5 minutes. Immediately after the clip, talk to your viewers and address that it's perfectly fine to be scared and nervous before school starts, and 90% of other students that you're with probably are too. 90% of other students probably are too. Did you read that? Maybe you heard me narrate it, maybe you saw it with your own eyes, but I typed that up on the date of my school lecture, September 5th, 2012, Episode 5, The Idle Mind. And frustrates me even more is that I've actually said that more than once, and then of course it's going back last year. And no one listens. No one listens. But the school episode, apparently because of this scene, I go on and of course I was a little nervous, but I really wanted to set the example of the typical student who would be nervous before school starts. And I went over all the common what-ifs. What if my friends aren't at my lunch table, right? All that stupid stuff. It's all useless. I went through all those what-ifs. And, of course, in 2013, when I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, but let's just say when people, alright, we're gonna blame everyone here. How about that? Let's be fair. When people discovered my videos in 2013 and through mid-2013 when I started this video up, they watched only that part of the video. People linked them to specifically the part where I talked about the what-ifs, and they misinterpreted it. They took it the wrong way. They thought, oh, look at this poor expletive. Look at this poor autistic retard, they like to say. That's a really favorite word that they used to say back in the day. Once again, I don't hear that too often, but they'd say, look at this poor expletive. And then they'd give me unnecessary sympathy or insults, neither of which I wanted because it was uncalled for and they had no grounds to send it. And I would get that constantly. People would associate me with that video only for that one scene, which was to set an example. It did not necessarily reflect my own life. Of course, while I was a bit nervous, it did not necessarily reflect my own life, and it only brought about unnecessary insults and unnecessary sympathy. And for that reason, having to put up with it, literally, at some point, when it got to its worst, and when I had to take action by removing permanently those 2 videos, every single day, by literally thousands of people, I took action, promptly removed them. I understand that this lecture might have taken a more aggressive tone at the end, but let it be known that these topics, at least when I like to reminisce about some of the negative things, really, heats me up, and it gets me going. But I hope you know I wasn't referring to any of you at this. I was referring to some of my dissidents who forced me, really, to take these videos down. I feel that my audience over the years, and once again, my next lecture, I might start at this, but my audience over the years has changed for the better, really. I think it's cleaned up a lot. You could understand, actually, by reading the fan mail. I pretty much read everything now. That's actually gotten a lot better than what it has even a few months ago. So I think it's cleaned up a lot. But, of course, we'll still get some adversaries out there, but I think it's cleaned up a lot. And you guys are certainly a beautiful audience. And I truly do mean that with sincerity. You guys are a great audience. If it weren't for you guys, I don't know if I'd still be here doing these, but I really do thank each and every one of you for listening, giving me your support. Once again, please understand that if my lecture might have taken an aggressive tone towards the end, it wasn't directed to any of you. It was directed to people on a certain site or sites. But understand that it wasn't directed to any of you. Once again, thank you for listening to this broadcast of VORW. Once again, if you want to let me know how the show is going, if you have any questions, comments, see how things are doing, whatever, feel free to send me a message via YouTube, and I will gladly respond. If you request me to personally respond, I certainly will. Otherwise, I shall respond with my fan mail section of the Voice of the Reporter of the Week at the very beginning of every show, as always. I thank you for listening to today's show. The time is 2:13 a.m., and I feel that is it. I'll get back to next time and next show. Let's see what we got. Next show we will start at the I Don't Mind Lecture 6 about prison. That's certainly an interesting one, huh? And we'll take that all the way as far as we can go. It's a very short, expansive time, but we'll probably take it to early 2013. Maybe the Domino's Pizza review. That's the second Domino's review. I believe on January the 19th or the 20th. The 19th, yeah. The 20th of January is a date in infamy, and I'll explain why in my next video. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Thank you very much. Remember, we've got a constant stream of, not really constant, that's actually a really bad exaggeration right there. We do have energy drink and food reviews coming up regularly. Feel free to check them out. And this VORW show will probably be up at some point this weekend, maybe Saturday night. Alright, thank you for listening, and I'll see you around. This is the Voice of the Reporter of the Week, signing off.